Hey guys, it's Mario here, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about how fast should you be able to see progress. How fast you should be able to see progress in the gym if you're training, if you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the work in your diet, you're managing your nutrition, you're putting in the work in the gym, and how fast does it take to get progress, right? And this has been a question I've been asked a lot, especially from beginners, from guys just starting out, because I did make a couple of videos on how fast you can gain muscle, and we thrown out that number of about 20 to 25 pounds in the first year. But guys are wondering well, how does that look? Like, will I see the difference when I'm gonna start noticing a difference? Because let's say you've been training for a month or two, and then your physique, I mean, just looking at the mirror, it looks the same, and you're kind of curious, well, if I'm putting in this effort, I mean, where is it going? And the thing is here is that first, very, very important factor is that you want to manage your own expectations. And these expectations are, whether you are conscious of it or unconscious of it, they've been mismanaged by fitness media, by mass media, by social media, by all these things. You've been tricked, right? You most likely believe that you can make incredible amount of gains within just a couple of months, maybe completely transform, like get a six-pack, even though you might be having extra 40-50 pounds on you, and you still believe that that is all possible within just a couple of months. And also not only that, but also gain like 20-30 pounds of muscle in a couple of weeks as well. I mean, I've noticed that I've seen different kinds of figures. I've seen guys throw out various kind of numbers out there, and it's really mismanaging the expectations of the wide variety of people who are just starting out, because you're expecting to see a big change, and then the change doesn't come, and then you start questioning the whole process. You start questioning the whole journey, right? Am I doing something wrong? Is this for me? Am I blessed with some kind of poor genetics? Like, am I just doing everything wrong? And the most likely scenario is that you've been doing everything correct, and shit just takes time. Stuff just takes time. And someone asked me recently of how fast did it take me to get strong at bench press, right? They watched one of my videos, and I was lifting, I think 265 for reps. And they were asking me, well, how long did it take you to get there? Well, to give you a little bit of perspective, I started with an empty bar for about 6 reps. That's an empty 45-pound bar. And it took me more than 12 months. So it took me more than a year to get to 205 for one single rep with good form. So think about that for a second. It took me more than a year to lift 205, to get 90 kilos with one good rep with decent form. And that is with not skipping workouts, being very, very diligent. Maybe I wasn't doing everything perfect compared to what I know now, but I mean, I was still doing a hell of a lot in the gym. I was putting in the effort. My nutrition was on point. I was sleeping 8 hours. I was doing everything fucking right, almost. And it's still 905, like it's still 205. It's still 90 kilos for one single repetition. And that is like, you start questioning, I was like halfway to hitting that point. I was in massive plateaus, and I was like, shit, I'm not getting stronger, I'm not getting bigger, I'm not getting leaner, like what's happening? Well, in reality is that I was slowly changing over time, but I just wasn't keeping track of it. And then let's say like 6 months in, if I was starting to question the process, if I would try on a shirt that I had wore 6 months previous to that, and the shirt was a little bit looser, now it would be fit or even small, and that was a really good indicator for me. So when you look at yourself in the mirror day to day, you will hardly notice any changes. It's really incredible. I could say to myself, I mean, within the last 2 years that I noticed zero change. But if I look at my pictures, if I look at my clothes that I'm wearing, I can definitely see a massive difference. I can see a big difference in the, let's say, my width of the shoulders, how my pecs grew and all these things. But to me in the mirror, to be fair, I mean, I look the same as I looked like 3-4 years ago. I mean, if I would be honest with you. And that is the thing, that I surrendered to the process, right? Even though I was making very slow gains, I mean, my genetics are probably like maybe below average a little bit as well, which doesn't really make, I mean, I don't make any excuse out of it. I'm simply putting in the effort. I know that I need to put in my reps. Nobody's gonna put in my reps for me. I just go to the gym, do the best I can, and I celebrate every single little thing that the journey gives me. And I see a lot of guys just starting out in this field. They just started getting into the fitness world and getting on the journey, they don't celebrate anything. Like they just simply wait for that big win, you know, to happen with that 60-pound loss or some big transformation, and then they're gonna start celebrating. Well, that's gonna really take some time, right? If you're waiting for something like that, you're most likely gonna be disappointed a little bit. You should be celebrating every single little ounce of progress you make, and that is something that I would recommend with full-on honesty. As if I haven't been doing that, I might have not even be here where I am currently, because I would have given up. Because I was on a very on a journey that had a lot of plateaus, had a lot of different things that I struggled with. And if I didn't celebrate every single little pound that I managed to add, or an extra rep that I managed to pull out, if I wasn't tracking, if I wasn't taking progress photos, I would probably not be here today. And the point is really to be putting in the effort and surrendering to that process. And it takes patience, man. Like, this shit takes patience. Like, you can't alter your whole physique within just a couple of months. You remember, I mean, if you look at it over the course of years, you know, the body slowly changes. Even if you're abusing it massively with the serious, like with ton of food and everything, it just takes so much time. Even if you just want to get fat, you know, that takes time. Like, everything takes time. And I mean, as an adult, you know, as you grow, as you like kind of get with age, I hope that you also will increase a little bit in patience, that you're gonna realize that you just have to surrender, right? You have to accept certain things, and you have to accept whatever the journey gives you. And the journey will give you whatever you deserve. And it's also gonna give you whatever your genetics kind of determine as well, because a lot of this is genetical and you can't really do much about it. The best you can do is really put in the work, make sure that you're progressing, and as long as you're moving forward, there's really nothing to worry about. I think that the point of this video is to kind of lay your fears with, am I putting the work in the wrong place? Like, guys are always wondering, like, well, if I'm putting in the time, is this gonna go anywhere? Well, it is gonna go somewhere. Like, if you're putting in the work, you're inevitably gonna reach your goal if you're progressing, and just focus on that progression. It's like one thing that I learned from video games, probably one of the most important things, like from playing things like World of Warcraft, or like when I was playing Unreal Tournament in like these professional clans, or in Europe we had big tournaments. The idea is always to progress. The idea is always to get better. And we had this ladder, you know, and then you would beat some guy, and then you would go up the ladder, and we would progress with our clan as well. And with World of Warcraft, it's even more obvious. You're just simply grinding, you know. And that's where I learned the grind. I believe that, like, you simply grind and you get experience. It's very similar to gym. It's simply a grind, and you have to surrender that you can only grind as fast as the system allows you. You can only grind as fast as your genetics allow you. And then once you do that, you know, that's it. It's just a matter of patience, and then you need to find love. You need to kind of fall in love with that journey, like with that process, you know, fall in love with the boredom, because it can get boring sometimes as well. And it really comes down back to like, hey, why am I doing this? I want to do this for myself, and I have to surrender. I have to accept the facts the way they are, but I keep improving, I keep working, I keep learning. And that is really ultimately what is the case. Even with learning itself, there's a limit of how fast you can learn things. Like, you can't just automatically learn a fucking ton of stuff. You know that if you try to learn, if you will get overwhelmed, and then you would need to take a break. And if you, I don't know, even video games, you know, like that, if you played Super Mario, I'm a little bit biased with that, is that, let's say you try to pass through a certain level in Super Mario, and then you would, let's say you fall into a pit, and you fall into a pit over and over, and you try to push it, you push it as hard as you can, you do the level over and over again, you lose many lives. But then again, sometimes just say, okay, shit, I'm just gonna accept the facts, I'm just gonna rest the controller a little bit, and you go to bed, you wake up, and next day you take the controller and you simply pass that pit like it was the easiest thing in the world. And that is really how your brain works. You know, some things just take time. And it's same with fitness. You know, sometimes you're gonna get frustrated, and maybe you need a deload, maybe you need to change something in your workout plan to surpass that plateau, but maybe you just need some time. You know, maybe you just need like to keep doing it, you know, keep doing whatever you're doing, and the result will come. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant here. Like, it's a little bit of a style of a rant video, but I just wanted to share a couple of ideas with you of what the fitness journey really looks like. And I think a lot of people don't have an idea of what they can expect. And you can really expect a lot of grinding, a lot of slow progress, a lot of plateaus. And the best you can do is really ultimately the only thing you can do. This is not an excuse for you not to put in the maximum effort. I'm saying that even with maximum effort, there's a point where you really have to accept whatever kind of result you get and keep working to improve that. And that is ultimately the best you can do, and that is enough. You know, that is really enough, and that is the only thing you should ever be concerned about. Am I putting in the best that I can? And when I say best, I mean effort. Effort is the only thing that you can judge yourself on a little bit if you want to. I'm not a big fan of judging myself, but I will judge myself on effort. I will not judge myself on the result, but on effort, I will judge myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you resonated with the ideas that I kind of mentioned in this video. And as always, make sure to click subscribe below to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.